Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to City Skylines. Today we are beginning anew. We're here in Emerald Bay, at least that's what I'm calling it. This map I believe is actually called the Trident. And with this season of City Skylines, I want to do something a little different. I want the entire focus of this season to be on making something beautiful. We're going to make a nicely detailed city. We're not just making one though. In my mind, there is room here for an entire county. So we're going to be looking at a city. We're going to be looking at towns. I like to imagine that this is actually the bay. Emerald Bay. So I imagine around here we're going to have like a little town there. We could have a little town down here. We could have like a big city sort of over this way. I like the idea that we're going to do a lot of things within this map. And all of it is going to look beautiful. So, the first thing I would actually like to do is get to work on a town. And a town that's going to come in really useful. A town that's basically going to be, for the time being, the heart of this entire map. I should point out, I do have a few mods and cheats enabled. In that, there is unlimited money. And I also have Demand Master switched on, and I'm going to be using this to fix the demand for everything to 100%, meaning we won't have to sit about and wait for people to move in. It will be instant, and we can focus on making things beautiful. So, let's get right to it. Now, as I said, I want to make something beautiful here. I want to make something that's going to be useful to the entire county, rather than just this little town. So my idea is that this town we're building here is actually going to be, it's going to contain a university. It's going to have a lot of services in that regard. It's going to have a recycling center. It's also going to be the town that, for the meantime, provides water to the entire county. So this town is going to be really important for everything. So let's get into the building. I think the university should probably be the center of the town. So we'll place a road there. We'll grab the university and see. It doesn't actually fit nicely on that road at all. So I want a road that is 19 units long rather than 20. So if I do 19, we can get a university nicely in the middle of that. And then I think what I'll do is, I'll not bother running a road up the side of it. I'll run a road up here just a little bit. So 15 units and 15 units. That was 16. That's not quite what I wanted. But we'll bring this, actually, you know what? We will go for the 16. So like that. And that way we have the university obviously on this road. But we have space around it to do pathways and trees and again just make it all really pretty. So this is going to be the center of the town. It's not really going to have a proper little town hall. It's going to have this as the middle of everything. So I reckon we probably also want something like an elementary school in here. I figured that would be useful. We could also we are obviously going to need police stations and stuff like that, but for the meantime, with this being the middle of town, I reckon I kind of want to, do this kind of thing. Leave a little bit of a gap between, like, these roads, which in my mind are going to be sort of roads with actual shops on them, and the road here that sort of goes around the university. So if I do that, we can have a nice block of shops back here, then we can have shops on either side that are a little bit further away from the building. So what I'll do is I will zone some high-density commercial on either side there. And I'll zone some high-density commercial just there. Like so. And I reckon this space could be a little park. I think that could look nice. So let's go ahead and just bring that path across there. I love the map theme that's going on here. This map has a very particular theme that changes sand into sort of little cobblestones and concrete into cobblestones as well. It's absolutely beautiful. It is also a European-themed map, so I'm going to try and create some stuff that's going to look European, but I I generally end up making something that's a complete mesh of a bunch of different styles, so we'll see how that goes. Even this, like, this isn't really, you don't really get big square roads like this in European towns, at least not towns I'm used to seeing, which is, you know, little crappy towns here in Northern Ireland. So, let's see, honestly, that's fine as a center. This isn't going to be a huge town. What we'll do is come off either side of this road like this. And I actually kind of like the idea that we do a little one-way system around here. Sort of flip it so they have to go around that, because my hometown is built on a one-way system, and it sort of works. It sort of doesn't, but that's fine. We want them to go that way. That goes that way. That, I think, is all good. Okay, so a little one-way system going around there with space to get across there. That seems fine. Okay. So we have this. This is... I think I'm going to get rid of some trees in there. I think that could be a nice idea to pop in here and just clear out some of the trees so we can bring this little space down to the coast, because that is something I absolutely want here. I don't know if I'm going to use a key, though. I'm not sure on that one. What I would like to do, though, is actually make these small oak trees a little bit closer together, but I only want them to be on one side of the road. But what I need to figure out is what side of the road that's going to be. So if I do none for the left tree, that's actually perfect. Okay, so left is... Oh, that's weird, but whatever. So we'll do a somewhat straight road going to there. Then I want a slight curve in it to bring it around there. And then I want it to sort of just end about there. Okay, that's not so bad. Nice little curvy road along the waterfront with some trees on one side. That looks lovely. Then I guess what we'll do is... I mean, this one-way system really could continue the whole way down, but I don't think that's necessarily the best idea. So we'll just go with a system of a straight road down there and a straight road down there. This space in here, I reckon, can be... I kind of want it to be a pedestrian zone, if anything. I want shops and things like that in here, but I absolutely want it to be a more pedestrian-focused zone. So if I do something like that, that'll be okay. Because what I can do is put a pathway through that space. And I want a pathway that sort of runs right down through the middle here. And if I use Road Anarchy, I can just go straight down like this. So that's kind of a pedestrian road. Though, in a way, I'm looking at it and thinking maybe it would make more sense to have it go vertically as opposed to horizontally. Because then what we can do is actually have it run right up to the entrance of the universe. Oh, no, we can't, because it's gonna be weird. Okay, well, we can do that. We can use these roads and then upgrade them into the pedestrian roads. Which does mess with zoning, but it does give us a perfectly central road there, which we can work with, so that's kind of nice. I guess I should probably look into a better way to do zoning here. But I reckon what might just be easier would be a little pathway just the whole way across there, which, yeah, completely straightens out zoning the whole way across. That's kind of what I wanted. I think I'll sort of do the same with that. Going to... Yeah, that I quite like. Okay, bring that straight up to there. Then bring that down to there. And go like that. That kind of works. It's not the prettiest thing, but it does give me some really nice zoning to work with there. And I reckon this is all going to be low density in there. That's going to be a pedestrian area with low density buildings. Then out here, I reckon we'll go with some low density housing, or not low density, sorry, high density housing on either side of that. Just like so. This whole area is going to have a high-rise band, by the way, don't worry. It's also going to have a European style, so it's going to look quite small. But I kind of like that. I think that looks quite nice. We'll get into detailing with trees and all that stuff in just a little bit. But if we do that, I mean, that comes along the coast really nicely. I love how the trees look just there. I think they look absolutely beautiful. So, I mean, it would be cool to get a key along there. I do oh, hold on a minute. There is a lighthouse as well. Now, that could be nice, especially if we get a key. The thing is, if I do a key, it's going to be way too close to, like, if I do there and turn off snapping a little bit, I could do that. Which actually, it doesn't look too bad, but I think it's a little bit too far away from the road. I think I kind of want the road to be right, sort of, against the key, almost. So if I do that, that's a little bit better, because then I can do a little bit, a slight bit of terraforming, and I can make it work. I also need to turn snapping off to make this sort of follow the road perfectly. So bring it along like this. I mean, it's times like this I'm so glad for the anarchy mods. Both road anarchy and key anarchy are going to be vital to just everything I do in this series. So we'll bring this along here to just about there, I think. That looks kind of nice. It is raised up a little bit, which is not the best thing, but I do still like it. I think it's nice. Let me go into terraforming just a little bit, and let me grab the leveling brush. Let me get a nice defined edge on it. So how about size 15 for that? We'll go with strength, say 0.61, and I want the height to be that. So I can just sort of lower the terrain against the key. It's kind of difficult to see it because there's no lights down there. But this way, you know, the terrain that's alongside the keys is lowered. The keys become a little bit more prominent, and that's a good thing. Okay. That is going to mess with water there a little bit, so I will just smooth out those edges. There we go. That's a little better, and we should be good. I do need to be careful not to hit the play button, though, because I have zoned some stuff and I have maxed out Demand Master, so we want to be careful. But I like that. I really do. I think that's absolutely lovely. So, I guess what I'll do is I will place that lighthouse, because I think that's absolutely beautiful. I really do. I think that's a beautiful looking lighthouse. It is definitely an abandoned lighthouse, though. That's the thing. Like, you look at the... I guess technically this thing would go, like, there-ish. Sort of out in the water a little bit. Kind of like that. But I like it. I really do. I think that's quite a nice little addition. I could add some... you know what? I don't really want to add the ruins of a pier. This area is not really supposed to be ruined. I think, for me, that can be sort of an historic lighthouse that they haven't tore down, again, just for the sake of history. But I don't think the ruins of a pier are something we necessarily want here. There's abandoned factories. There are castle ruins, which I think could look absolutely beautiful if I use this right. Because in my family's hometown, not my hometown, but my family's hometown, there is a castle, and it is a pretty historic castle. So I could do something with this and create a little space for a castle. I think that could be absolutely beautiful. So let's give this a shot. What would be the face of this, though? That's the thing. Like, so that's where the entrance is. The entrance will be facing that way. So we'll put the entrance to this castle like that, which I quite like. Then if I go and grab the castle tower ruins, I can sort of chuck it in the middle, but I don't really want to do that. I want the taller one, which I think can sort of be stuck onto the corner there, almost, to give it just a slightly different look to the just vanilla castle that's in City Skylines. That is an ancient cemetery. Good lord. Bit big. Don't really want that kind of thing. Is there anything else castle-related? There are some sort of standing stones, which I could sort of chuck into the mix. If I do prop and tree anarchy on, I can sort of throw that in there. I could also do... No, those don't look like ruins at all. That is a bloody huge rock formation. I kind of like the idea that that would maybe be done in the water a little bit. So something like that done in the water. Something like that done in the water a little bit. Because this would be the reason this castle would exist here. And yes, I'm thinking of it in that level of detail. This castle would be in a perfect spot to not be attacked from the sea because it's too dangerous for ships to get close to the coastline there. That's my thinking for those rocks. So, I mean, the castle is nicely positioned. Oh, you know what I can do? And I totally forgot this is even a thing. The walls. There's castle walls. Of course there are. And there's also even more destroyed castle walls. I don't think any of these walls are necessarily going to be... I don't think any of these walls necessarily should be left standing. But I can do like a broken section of walls there. Then I can do like a slightly more broken section of wall there. With a slightly less broken section there. Again, slightly less broken. Bring it across to there. Give me a slightly more broken section. Then give me a regular section, because I can delete that nicely in a second. Again, slightly more broken, slightly less broken. Bring it around the corner a little bit. Bring it down this way a little bit. Then that way as well. And then can I link it to the back? I can link it to the back. Beautiful. Then if I just... I want to... Oh, that's going to be tricky. Okay, we're going to have to work this a different way then. So bring that over to there, bring that over to there, and don't link them together. That's fine. Yeah, that's actually okay. I'm fine with this. What I want to do is get the smaller broken tower and sort of just chuck it on the corner there. And I'll chuck another one just at the back there to hide the join between the sections of wall and castle. So if I do that, you get the lack of a join. We'll get another small one just on that corner, I think. And then I want a big broken tower just here. With the door obviously facing in. So like that. And this can actually just be completely ruined over here. Oh, that looks amazing. Oh, no. Do not delete my castle. I think the castle does have trees inside the bindery anyway. But I love that. That looks so cool. I really love that. I completely forgot things like this were even in cities. I really did. I'll put some broken and like fallen trees in here, although they wouldn't really be there. I'll put those in anyway. I'll put a couple of just like broken rocks here and there. Not broken rocks, just bits of rock. So that it kind of looks like boulders almost. That not boulders, but just like bits of the castle that have fallen over time. Just here and there, like by the entrance especially. Like this needs to be broken quite a bit. That looks so cool. I really love how that looks. That is a nice addition to this town. I do think we need to do some rocks along the coast of it, though. I think that's something I'm gonna need to work on. I also need to terraform that a little bit. Okay, can I can't really make that more smooth, so I'm gonna need to, yeah, definitely have a play around with rocks there. There we go, we have a broken castle. It's got rocks around it in the water, it's got rocks down here. It looks really cool. I really do like this. I just noticed this little bit of land in here probably needs some rocks on it, which is completely doable. Just add a few of those just here and there, get prop and tree anarchy on. I will say, I guess the mod was updated at some point, but prop and tree anarchy is you can only enable it from this menu, and it defaults to off every time you open the menu. Again, I assume the mod was updated because it didn't really do that. At least I didn't notice it doing that during my previous season. But I'm okay with that. I actually, that's a really great idea to have it default to off. But there we go. That's a nice sort of, that's a really, really nice castle. I love how that looks. We do need to get back to this town, though. And I think this town, honestly, is probably just going to fill up this open space. I think that's kind of big enough for it, because we can't, like, this is a fairly lengthy space in here between, you know, I could put a nice big city in there or something. I could put a big city sort of along in this corner, or probably up here, to be honest. But I'm really liking the, I don't know, we haven't really done anything, but this just makes me so happy, this castle. I didn't, like, you can do this in City Skylines. That's a thing. That's ridiculous. It's a city builder, and you can do that. Anyway, let's actually figure out how this is going to work. So I do want a lot of suburbs in here. I say a lot. We're not really going to get a lot in here, but I do want suburbs. So let's, for one, figure out how people are going to get into this town, which I reckon probably just needs to be a great big bloody road. And I'm going to cheat to make it happen, so I can have it right in the middle, by using just road anarchy there, because it let me just put the road straight through the middle of everything, which is excellent. Now what I will do is that's meant to be a two-way road, so I'm just gonna pop across there with a nice two-way road, and that's a one-way road going that way. So we're gonna go. Oh, that's actually gonna work really well if I have a one-way road doing this. Yeah, that'll work beautifully. Zoning's a bit effed up, but that's probably okay as well. If anything, I could, if I really wanted to, I could take zoning completely away from that road up there and chuck it all onto this little road, or even like this one, to be honest. That's probably okay. Because I can just not zone this bit, and I can zone all of this bit. And I can still have some trees in there, and I can have trees there as well. We'll not zone that bit, or that bit. But that way traffic all comes in and has to go around this way, and it can go where it wants to go, but that I like. I kind of like that. So that's going to be probably the main road into the town. There will be other ones that take you to the suburbs, but that'll be... I think the town is small enough that I can get away with pretty much having one main road in. That's, that can branch off in different ways. So I wanted to go up to there. And I do want I want a train station in here. I think that's something that's going to be quite important as well, is public, like... I know public transport in general is important, but I think for little towns like this are going to be useful as well. I don't think a small suburban train station is... Well, I guess just a little, like, two-platform station. It is a small town, so I kind of like that idea. Let's get a little train station in here. Let's do that. Let me just block off you know what I need? I need to get the mod that lets me, just determine zoning on roads. That would make this so much easier, but we'll do that. We'll sort of match it on this side. I know towns don't necessarily have this degree of symmetry, but this train station is going to throw off the symmetry, so it's fine. So if I do that, that can be a little sort of end-of-the-line station. And it's not terrible, I just think that's maybe a little too understated. So let's see. I mean, this one's too much. This one is quite clearly more of a city station, which I'm not a big fan of. Obviously, M1 and all that, it's a big city station. We could obviously go with... I mean, that is also technically city station. It's the bloody name of it. We do have default train station, but I think it's maybe a little too much as well. So, I mean, let's have a look at city station. I'm not going to have subways in here, but I kind of like that. I do. It's maybe a little much, though. It's not... Well, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with city station. It does have a subway underneath it, but I'm not going to use the subway stations underneath it anyway. So, let me... Now, this is going to connect to the region, is the problem, but I'm going to have to allow that. Although, I think I also have the mod, which, if I if I move this building and kind of alt-click to place it, it will only accept local trains. So that'll no longer accept regional traffic, which is beautiful. So we'll have this train line go straight out for about 20 units. I'll have this one just come in from there the whole way. Can I just have those connect? Not really. Almost, but not quite. Let's see. So that. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. That's a perfect little train line there. Cuts through the trees in an absolutely beautiful way. It would be amazing to be on that train. That would be so pretty. It really would. I've been on a lot of trains. Like, I say I've been on a lot of trains. Trains in the UK always look the same. I've noticed, like, when you're taking a reasonably lengthy journey that's not in a city, they all look the same. Like, all the countryside is exactly the same. It's quite strange, actually. And it's disappointing. I don't know, man. I like the idea of, like, a train going through a forest, but I think that's much more of, like, that's almost a fantasy movie kind of thing. It's like, oh, this train's going through a mystical forest. It would still be pretty as hell, but I don't think it's the most realistic thing. I'm also going to use this 4-lane road here instead of the one I'm using at the moment. Because that actually, again, is a little more realistic to the kind of roads you would find in the countryside versus the tree-lined roads, which you'll find sort of more in a city. So can I go to, like, there and connect those? That's pretty much spot on, really. Yeah, that's pretty close to perfect, so I'll allow that. That seems fine. Okay, so that road is technically going to have to connect to this highway, which is going to be tricky. Plus the whole bloody thing's paved. That wouldn't happen. I don't necessarily know how I feel about this whole road being paved. Part of me wants to turn it into two-lane highways, to be honest. I think that might be a better bet. It's just tricky to do that. Let's see. Let's see if I can make this work. If I go to there and I go to there. So what I would really be wanting to do is that kind of thing. So that and one sort of literally right next to it as well. Which I'm not entirely sure is going to be possible without a little bit of trickery. So if I do that, and then I start on this side and go to, there. So that's kind of what I would want to do. I would want to turn this into, a couple of roads like that, which, holy crap, that actually worked. Okay, no, that's beautiful then, okay. I did not expect that to work, I will be honest. Really didn't expect that to work at all. But apparently it does. So that's excellent news. I think we'll just continue this along the train line. Because we might as well. It is technically two fairly speedy roads, which is nice. So bring those along. I'll flip that one whilst we're here. That one didn't need to flip. That one did. Just flip this entire one here to go... That'll be the one going into the city. I think I will... Do I want a level crossing? I feel like a level crossing is probably a bad idea, considering... Just considering the fact that, It is a highway. You know, we're dealing with a highway here. I'm also going to downgrade these to 2-lane roads because we really don't need 3-lane roads the whole way in there. They can go into 3-lane roads as they approach this crazy intersection, but yeah, what way am I going to do the train line then? I guess it'll be a bridge. I guess that's kind of what it'll have to be. Or I could lower the terrain. That is also an option. If I bring that to there and I sort of extend this one down to... Well, not that far, actually. Bring them both back a little bit. Obviously, flipping that one around. So if I bring them both to, say, there. And I... get rid of a big section of train track. What if I went to keys... if I go to there, and I go to sort of straight roads, and I sort of want to snap it, I kind of want it to be as parallel to all of this as I possibly can make it. That's probably a bit much, to be honest, but I'll deal with it. That can go to there. That can start about there. A little bit close, but it'll do the job. So if I do that, even that as a distance is a bit much, but I think that's fairly parallel. So if I do like that kind of thing, then I want to lower the terrain between those. The issue being, I'm pretty sure keys on land are weird as hell, so if I lower the terrain just a little bit, so like that height, not that height exactly, but it's like that height, that's smoothing the terrain. No, it's not. Why is the terrain being so strange there? Let me set it to a certain height. That height specifically. Right there. Okay, so if I do that, then I select level terrain. I want to select that height. And I want to make it all completely level across there. I think the terrain height is changing as we move along, but that's fine. We'll make it work. So, yeah, that's kind of what we're dealing with. Does the terrain height... Yeah, it does. The terrain is sort of angled weird there. Maybe the better option would just be to bridge over the whole thing. I'm feeling like that's a much better option at this point, because this is just a massive terrain, so we'll just do that. We'll reconnect the train line in just a second, so we'll bring this road down to there. That road down to there. Obviously flipping it. Then these actually need to connect much closer than I thought they would. We'll get to that in just a second. I think what I want to do, though, is I want to get my terrain brush, and I want to lower the size just as small as I can go, and I want to select from, like, I want to raise the train up a little bit. I need a 12 meter high. I think 9 is actually fine. So 1, 2, 3. So that's 9. If I go 12 units and 1, 2, 3. So that's the height I want to work with. So I want to raise some terrain up. Okay, not quite that high, please. Let me just smooth all that out a little bit. There we go. And then actually smooth it as well. Okay, so I want to just lower the strength so I can raise the terrain to almost there. About there, basically. So about that height. Then let me just smooth all that out. So about that height, and I want to start from here. So if I go like that, I want a bit of a slope, really. I want something that slopes up to about there from here. Because that way, I can have an actual sort of natural looking slope. It's kind of the idea that goes over the road. So yeah, that'll be nice. That'll go up and over. So let me select that height about there. Let me level the terrain to that height on this side. And just bring it across like this. Almost levels itself out anyway. But what we'll do is go to the train line and then just bring it straight across to there. And then it should, in theory, 1, 2, 3. It should be able to somewhat bridge across there quite nicely. Yeah, I'll make that work. Go to there, and then I just want to smooth all that out. So, select that height, start there, and make it a nice smooth thing, like so. Alright. So we go to train line, we connect you to you. Alright. That's not so bad. It doesn't look the prettiest, but if we smooth out the sides, you'll not really notice the slopes as much. I mean, you'll notice them, they're meant to be there, but it'll look a little better. Let me just increase the size of the brush. Do a bit of smoothing like that on a pretty large scale. And I like it. I don't like it. Looks terrible. So I decided to just go for this because it really just works better. We just got some bridges. It works fine. The roads come down like this and the whole way into town. Absolutely love how this looks. I don't know if it'll work, but I love how it looks. I think it works. It looks perfect. And looking at it, yeah, that is actually just gonna work. I'll be curious to see what traffic does when it gets to it, because it may end up, you know, glitching out a little bit, and it may end up not working. But for the meantime, that looks fine. I do really enjoy how this little town looks, though. I think it's pretty good. And I reckon what we'll do is pretty much have suburbs on sort of both sides. In here could be some commercial stuff, but suburb there and suburb out there could be really good. So let's figure out a good way to do it. I think one side should be really expensive looking suburb. The other should be sort of more packed in. So let me just change this road to grassline. And we'll do that. And I want a gap of about that size between this road and that pathway. So bring this up a little bit like that. This will be the expensive suburbs over here. So it comes up a bit like that. It's gonna continue a little bit more. We'll go, say, 6 units. Actually, no, we won't. We'll do a full curve here. We'll go 7 and 7. And we'll connect that to the sort of avenue thing there. So that's quite nice. Then I want to basically double that up a little bit. And do something like this. To put more roads on. Although I do think if I do this, yeah, the trees stay on the left side, which is perfect. So there we go, a bunch of trees on the left sides. I'll just change those into grassline roads anyway, because it makes it a little bit easier. And we can put some houses back there. In fact, the trees should be on this side, like that, splitting the two roads. And if I'm clever with this, I can go even better. Okay. So from there to there, and there you go. Little corridor of trees that doesn't actually border the road, but borders the space between the road. Beautiful. Okay, I can put some houses in that as well. That'll actually work fine for me. So let me do, say 3 by 3. We'll just do little 3 by 3 gaps, I think. And see how that works. It may, or it may work, it may not. I'm definitely curious to see. So if I do that, I think I'll just match it on this side. So do that kind of thing. We'll do the same there. I do want to find somewhere I can make a split, though. The split's probably going to be... By split, I mean somewhere I can sort of go back here and do more houses on some kind of space like that. Though I guess like what is this space going to be? I didn't think about that. If I do that, the trees are on the wrong side. Well, if I do that, I guess that works. I'll just do that kind of thing, and I don't actually know what way to do these trees. That's also on the wrong side. I guess we'll do small oak and just split it so I can make this work. So do that kind of thing. But then the tree's on the wrong side completely. Oh, bother. Okay, so if I do that and up to there, the trees are on the correct side. Turn that into grass-lined, and I guess... Can I just get like a little grass-line connection there? I can. I guess that's not so bad. Not the prettiest thing, though, which is kind of a problem. It kind of needs to be the prettiest thing. What about that? I think I prefer that. And I think I prefer it because I can sort of bring the key across a little bit further. If I turn snapping off. See about that spot? Which I think works better with that road. So that's actually okay. That's not so bad. I really like the I really like the divide that's going on there, and I actually wonder if I could go to roads, go to tree-lined, and do small oaks on either side of that. Oh, I can. That's beautiful. Okay, I'm really... Actually, no, just grass. That's fine. We'll continue the houses down then, and we'll get more suburban roads in just a second. Well, this is a little bit of a mess, but I kind of really like it. I think it's an interesting little space. It is glitching out a little bit there. Like the path, the roads are not liking it, so I might just try downgrading that bit, which didn't really work, to be honest. Maybe it'd be worth doing that kind of thing. That, I don't know. I really don't know. I kind of think we almost needed that section in the middle. So let me try something. So that's one way, that's one way. If we make this bit one way as well, then I guess that does act as like a sort of little roundabout almost. Which makes things a bit tricky, but I guess I'll allow it. We'll see what happens. There shouldn't really be that much in the way of traffic in this area anyway, just considering the nature of the zoning that I'm doing, so it should be completely fine. And I love that this all split into little sections of 3 there, all on its own, because that makes things so much easier for me. So we'll do that, and we'll do a little one at the end there as well. I'll do a little one there. I'll do a little one in there. These aren't really going to line up as nicely as the other ones did, but that's okay. I don't think I'll bother with any zoning on this section here, although I probably could if I do that. And then I actually do a little pedestrian path in there. If I do this kind of thing. Actually, no, I can't. Okay. Well, we'll not bother with zoning there then. That's completely fine. We could do some kind of park in there, actually, which could look lovely. So let me have a little bit of a look at some parks. I don't think a Japanese garden is what we want. I think I want a dog park. Just, I think just there. It's at a bit of a weird angle, but I don't think it's interrupting zoning. No, it isn't. So that's pretty good, actually. If I did something there, I could get another house there, which I like the idea of. So let me try and just interrupt the zoning in this space a little bit. So if I do that, and then sort of connect it to the dog park like that, I guess, which means I can get a third little house just there. That's beautiful. Same with here, actually. If I did a little path through that space, I can get one just in that corner as well. So if I just do, I guess just technically a straight road through. Yeah, that's all we needed, because I can then do that. Beautiful. That's kind of nice. I do like the idea of maybe just a little bit of a gravel, not the straight one, but just a little bit of a gravel path coming through like that to connect to the side of the dog park. I think it just looks nice. And then we could probably do one down this way as well. Just, you know, little gravel paths that just run through the area, connecting to this and that. It looks nice. It does. These ones are going to slightly change, though, just because they, and this one's going to run straight into the dog park anyway. So I'm going to go to there. Then I want to slightly curve it at the end. This one's going to run to there. And then slightly curve it at the end. Okay, that's a little bit better. Then all I need to do is put some small oak trees in and around that space to fill it out a little bit. To make it look like the dog park is actually sort of unified into the area. I will say the biggest downside to having the gravel be the sand and sort of dirt is that it puts gravel around the base of your trees. But I think that's kind of worth it for the overall look that you get. So we'll just do that kind of thing to make the whole area look kind of blended together. I quite like that. Okay. Yeah, I think that's quite nice. That fills up a lot of, not a lot of space, but it fills up a decent bit of space. In here, I'm not quite sure what we'll do. Over here is definitely going to be some more, I guess, low-density residential. But obviously, it's not going to be quite as planned as that. I do think over here we could do a little bit of low-density commercial. Just a little strip of it there. Then maybe some high-density residential just over here by the train station. I think that could kind of work. Just a few apartments here and there, like that, to change things up. I also want to extend this road a little bit, just so getting to and from the train station is a little bit easier. And it adds to the asymmetrical look of the entire place, which thus far, I'm really enjoying. I really love this town. It's so nice. It's come together a lot better than I thought it would, which is that's a plus. That is definitely a plus. I've actually decided what can go in this space out here, and I'm thinking it could actually just be a hospital. Probably not that one, but a hospital of some sort. Possibly that one, because we do need one, definitely. I think that's maybe a bit big for the size of the town. You see, I kind of want a large hospital, but it's hard to escape the fact that this is going to be a fairly small town, and the medical clinic makes so much more sense. So, I guess a little medical clinic there is quite nice. And I like the idea of sort of all of my emergency services being centered in the same space. So if I do a fire station there and then a police station, I can actually fit a full... No, I can't fit a full police station. I can fit the small police station in there. If I do a large fire station just there, I can do the small police station at the end. And it just puts all of the services in the same place, which isn't the most realistic. Well, I say that, again, to refer to my own town, the police station and fire station are right next to each other. So, I mean, we could have those together. They kind of work. Maybe the medical clinic can be somewhere else. Even there kind of works, I suppose. What's zone? That's high density. I don't really want to put it right there. Middle of town's definitely not the right place for it. So, I mean, that's also high density. I guess by the train station. Sort of out there. That's going to be behind some high density buildings, kind of on the border of a suburb there. So that's kind of okay. We'll move the fire station to there, which is a little close to that road for its own good. So we'll do it like that. Then move the police station to there. Which looks fine to me. And then we need to pave the space in between those, because good lord, what's going on with that? So give me the 1x1 concrete tiles, like so. And we'll just fill that in. That looks a little bit better. Yeah, that's okay. We can actually get rid of that little bit of road. Though we still need to figure out what goes in this space, because we still don't really have anything for it. Although maybe it can just stay empty. That, I guess, is always an option. I do realize, though, we absolutely need industry for this little town. And not really much of it, but industry nonetheless. So I don't necessarily think a full-on suburb is gonna be the best option out here. But at the same time, I kind of want a full-on suburb. That's the problem. Can you see my problem here? I want a full-on suburb, but I also am aware of the fact that we need industry. So I think we're gonna have to go with the industry. We need it more than we need the suburb, which is the unfortunate reality here. So I don't know how I feel about that road. I feel like that road was terrible. So if I go to there, and we do a little, say, 10 by 10 curve, I run the risk of actually being very similar with what I've done over there. But if I go up like that, we can create a small industrial park, I suppose. And I am going to use a similar idea to what I did on the other side of town, in that I'm going to have that sort of buffer road there. So I can put some stuff on this road to sort of hide the industry and kind of keep it out of sight, which is definitely a thing I want to do, considering this is right by the bay. Although it's not that much industry. This isn't going to be packed full of it, so it's probably okay. We'll do that kind of thing. We'll connect that to there. Have a little gap in between so we can have a pedestrian path. And, I mean, hell, even that's probably alright. I mean, it's a little close to the castle is my worry, though. So maybe, just maybe, we do a little bit of office space out there. To sort of be near the castle so we don't have too much industry on it. Or alternatively, we just go with that. Like, we have a buffer of trees. We will have factories behind the castle, but again, if I refer to my family's hometown, that's not entirely unrealistic. there is a like, from the castle, you can very clearly see a power plant. And I'm okay describing all of this because I don't live there. So if I do, if I do that, I can just do a road across to there, I suppose. Although I don't think I want it to be the grass-lined road. But that runs the risk of becoming a very major road into the industrial zone. So I think what I would want to do is turn that into a one-way, just one-lane road out of the industrial space, so that traffic doesn't use that as the way in. But then again, it does force all this traffic down through my city, which also isn't a good thing. So that's not good. Let's change this again. I guess that little road there will allow traffic to get right over into the industrial zone, and then it lets traffic out of the industrial zone as well. So we do have two connections there, which I think will look quite reasonable. What I would also like to do is just put a little bit of zoning sort of against the train station there. I think that could look nice, especially if I do that kind of gap there, and I put a little pedestrian path just up beside the train station, because it makes it look like this is now a sort of, another entrance to the station, which it previously didn't look because it didn't have any path in front of it. So that looks a little bit better. We can even go to here and just pave the space there. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to pave that entire area, I think, just around the train station, just to fill it all in and make it look all nice and fancy. So we'll do that, we'll do that, I'll do that, and I'll do that. So that paves pretty much the whole thing. It does actually create some issues. I'm gonna delete that paving because the trees should not be paved at all. So that's not quite what you want. Oh, I don't care enough. I care about how this looks, but little details like that, like, oh, the trees are in concrete, I don't really think it matters all that much. We're not really, you'll notice it. Especially now that I've pointed it out. God damn, you're gonna notice it. But I don't think it matters that much. I think I'll be fine. I also noticed there's parking on that side. Maybe I should continue this path up a little bit further to there. Because that way it sort of looks like a road you could maybe drive on, but you probably don't want to drive on. It's that kind of road, It's like, can I drive on that? Can I not drive on that? I wouldn't know. I don't drive. But, it's one of those roads. It's a very confusing road is what it is. The road is a bit of a liar. But we'll do that. We'll get a little bit of low-density commercial just in there. I reckon I want to do a little bit of a sort of park thing in here. To just, get the zoning right on that road for a start. And then also just, again, this will be a nice little buffer between the industrial zone and the rest of the city. So we'll just have a little park that sort of comes around like that. We can have it sort of branch off like that if we really need it to. And go to there. And we can have a little path that sort of comes out here as well. Just like that. Yeah, I like it. That'll look pretty. Let's see. So that's industrial. I guess this is a park more so than anything. Which really, now that I look at it, I probably want to go to the industrial section here and get some industrial fences to border off the train track a little bit. Because otherwise, the park is, you'll be able to walk straight through onto the train tracks, but you kind of don't want to do that. Now that didn't work. I need to put on prop and tree anarchy for this to be a thing. I want to rotate this so it's... Oh god, this is going to be tricky as hell. I might just use the stone walls. That seems like it might be a better option. Where are the stone walls? They're in here somewhere. There they are. So if I go like there... Yeah, I think the stone walls might be the better option. Just overall. So if I sort of line it up with the end of the platform and just go like that... Really, I just need it to go to there, because that way it does create a bit of a barrier between the public space and the train track. So, boom. Looks a little ridiculous, I'll be honest, but I think that's going to be important to sort of, again, hide the fact that, you know, there's a train track right there. Even though you know it's there, you just don't want it to be easy for people to walk onto the bloody thing. So I've decided to be terrible and go with 2 coal power plants out here. These are actually from SimCity 3000, and I think they actually really nicely match the look of the area, so they blend in there quite nicely. We do have some industrial zoning in here as well. We are obviously gonna also need some recycling out here, so we'll get a recycling plant. I'll sort of just chuck it beside the coal power plants, and hopefully that'll be enough to service the entire town. We also need water, which is obviously vitally important. So we'll pull up some water from here. We probably only need 1 or 2 of those. I'll get 3 for the time being. Sewage, I'm going to be a bit of a sneak, bit of a cheat with, and I'm just going to put a bunch of sewage outflow pipes over there with like a wind turbine or 2 beside them, just so I don't have to worry about sewage outflow later down the line. So get a couple of those just there. This'll all be okay, although they need some connections like so. Then as for piping in here, I guess I'm just going to have it sort of stick to the roads a little bit. So if I do that, I can sort of bring it that way, bring it across to that road, and sort of down through the middle. Bring it up to there, like that, I guess. Doesn't quite stick to the roads perfectly, but certainly does the job at least. Bring it down that way, bring it across to there. Yeah, fills in a bunch of space. That seems pretty good. Bring that down to there, and bring that across to there and up like that. So that's the whole area covered. We'll just connect that to those. And I realize, as for electricity, I mean, there is a bridge between those. Also, I got these. These are electrical utility poles, which... Oh, they do actually bridge the gap. That's beautiful. I'm not entirely sure how to delete them. Oh, that's how you delete them. Okay. Yeah, I got these electrical utility poles, which basically are sort of old school power pylons, and I really like them. And I'm totally going to use them. So let me just sort of line them along that road, like that. And I don't know if this is actually going to work. But I'm curious. If I did that... yeah, they bridge the gap. They're just a bit, well, not very good at bridging gaps. Let's see. If I put one just like... Oh, they also disappear when you're not looking at them properly. If I did one there... And I do one of the smaller ones... Can I turn it this way to line them up? Because if I can, that's much more useful. Like if I do that, does that actually work? Hold on, there. Oh, it totally does. Well, that'll do. We don't really need to go... Oh, we do need to go much further, don't we? Okay, let me use the longer one then, and sort of line those all up. So do that. There we go. So that bridges across really nicely. Those look awesome, actually. Even the ones where they overlap. I mean, where do they... I don't see where they overlap. Is that an overlap one? I think it is. I don't know. Yeah, even the ones where they overlap, they just look kind of cool. Like, those look much better than the massive pylons that you can get elsewhere. So, I've done most of the zoning for here, I guess. I don't really want much in the way of industry down here. I think I'll do... What I will do is try and get something to block off that little bit of zoning there, even if it is just a path like that, to be a bit sneaky about it. Then do some small office buildings there. And I'll do some small office buildings just around the sides of the industry as well, just to bring a bit of variety in terms of zoning for there. And I'll do some small office buildings there as well. Oh, they're going to be a bit tricky to do. Never mind. So we'll not do that. That's fine. I guess this is a good start, though. this is definitely a good start to Emerald Bay, which is not the best name for a county, but it's definitely a good start. Let me see if can I just make this work. I want this zoning here to completely go away. So I guess if I do that kind of thing and sort of bring the zoning out a bit, no, not the zoning, the path out a little bit. So if I do that, bring the path like that. Yeah, I can make that work. Okay, we'll bring this out like so. And it's totally going to go past the castle, and probably into the castle anyway. Though that gets rid of way too many trees. I'm liking the trees in front of the castle, so let me just bring it a little bit closer to the buildings. That's an interesting place for a bunch of buildings, actually, right like that close to a castle. That wouldn't really be a thing you would have, but sure. We'll run a path straight up through there. Straight through those trees, I suppose. So you can go straight to the castle, which I think will be nice. We'll have a little gap there as well. And this road down here, I realize, doesn't actually connect to anything. It's a complete dead end, which I reckon I'll do some high-density housing on. And I reckon I'll do the same thing over here. And there as well. And then I just need to put a district on this, and then a high-rise ban. So I'm going to be very messy with the district here, because it is just going to be one district for the entire town. And I do think I'll let you guys name this town, considering, you know, I'm terrible with names. So I'll let you guys name it in the comments below. So there we go. It's currently called Moor Heights, because of course it is. Is that not like the first district we had last season during Snowfall? I think it might be. But there we go. So that's the district. We'll change the policies to encourage recycling. No, not that actually. Parks and Rec. Education boost. We'll have high-rise ban. We'll encourage biking. And smoke detector distribution as well. That seems fine. I quite like that. We'll turn off road anarchy. I realize I don't currently have any public transport methods in here. I should probably put a bus depot of some sort, which could technically go over here, which I think might be a nice place for it. So we'll just chuck it out there in the industrial zone. And I quite like the idea of a large no, maybe not a large taxi depot, although yeah, we'll do a small one. We'll do a small little taxi depot by the train station there, because it fits in quite nicely. There we go. So that's going to be a way for people to get about. And I guess all we need to do now is wait for the time to build. Well, the town exists. Everything's built up. The houses over here all look pretty reasonable. Some of them are actually upgrading into, well, they're all sort of two houses. Those will all eventually upgrade, though, which is excellent news. Some houses like this already exist, which is nice. We already have a bunch of buildings running. I mean, as, you know, the way it's going to work, we have the mod that lets us get everything instantly, so that's kind of fine. I actually like the lower density commercial up the middle here. I think it means that you do still get a nice view of the university. Those buildings will look a little bit better when they upgrade. We do, of course, have all of the high-density European buildings around here. I love how European factories look. This building here is actually my favorite. I think I've mentioned it before, but this is my favorite building in the entire European tile set. It's just, it really is a beautiful building. It's, it really, really is. It's just, it's so just sort of like old British industry. That's kind of what I see when I look at that. Same with this, to be honest. This is kind of in the same vein. I'll tell you what I'm curious about, though. I am curious about traffic. I want to see just how much traffic is about to use these roads. There comes a a truck, but it doesn't seem to be that much. There's 464 people living here at the moment. The population, yeah, 475, so that's actually okay. That road will probably hold up nicely. There's a truck actually using that road right away. Some delivery vehicles coming down, but generally anything going to the industrial zone seems to want to use that road. Which is brilliant, because that's the point of the road. It's actually really nice seeing trucks using that and then vehicles leaving, and there's the wave of traffic. That's what I was expecting. I guess the population is still on the rise. But yeah, this is something that, when I do a Let's Build in City Skylines, which, let's be fair, I haven't done in a while. But when I do a Let's Build in City Skylines, this is something you often don't see. The mass influx of traffic to a city once you hit play. Because I always have, I always, without fail, have Demand Master on for Let's Builds. And, yeah, it causes this, just the huge influx of traffic. And it backs up for a while, but it does filter out, because this is everyone coming into your city for the first time. Which, that's what you're seeing. You know, all these houses need to be populated with households, or with families. So yeah, I mean, it's already filtering out. I mean, there's still a lot of traffic, but it will sort itself out. There are some job issues here and there, which obviously there will be. I mean, for example, offices need educated workers, and I realized I didn't put an elementary school in here, so we're probably going to want one of those. Which, I guess I could probably stick sort of there-ish. Or actually, there's kind of perfect. That fills in that space really nicely, right by a suburb. And what I can even do is I could put some trees in that little corner. Also, you'll notice the income's not doing so good. Again, we're not really focusing on income this time around. This is more of a creative-focused series for this one. I'll do a nice big tree there, because why not? There we go. So that elementary school services the entire town. There are a few people eligible for high school. We're not going to have a high school in this town. And university, there are a few people eligible for that as well. We are absolutely going to have, and this is something you don't see as well, we will, for this initial sort of period of constructing the town, have issues with jobs. That's just because of the nature of high-density buildings and offices, in that they need educated workers. And also, a lot of these buildings need just workers in general. While everyone's moving in and while everyone's getting educated, there will be problems like this, but they clear up fairly quickly. I also realized I didn't really do any of the detailing around the university. Or in here, but we can revisit that, and we will revisit that, because for today, I would actually like to leave it there. I'm really happy with what we have here as the start of Emerald Bay. I may change the name to Emerald County. That might be something worth doing, because Emerald County would probably make a lot more sense, considering, I mean, that is just a little town within this entire county, and this is more of the bay than anything else. So this I guess, could be Emerald Bay, and the whole thing can... Oh, the hell with it. We're going with Emerald County. C-O-U-N-T-Y. There we go. So that's what we've got. That's the first little town in the entire place. Love how it looks, but there's still detailing to go. There's still issues to sort out, and we will do that. But for today, that's going to be it. So thank you kindly for watching. If, by the way, ignore the abandoned building issues. Again, they are abandoned because there weren't enough workers. That will sort itself out. Don't worry, that'll get fixed. But yeah, don't forget, you can name this town. Leave your suggestions in the comments below. I'm curious to see what people think this town should be called. But yes, that is going to be it for today. So thank you kindly for watching. This has been City Skylines, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.